Hello Jeffco teachers. This video is being created to give you a bit of a tour of what you're going to find in CCAP. I want to start with my main screen. It shows my year at a glance, and I'm going to click on that first unit, Changing Face of North America, Emergence of a New World Society. This is going to take me to anything that will support you as teachers in your instructional planning. To begin, here I'm on the Unit tab. The Unit tab is going to tell me approximately when this unit is going, approximately how many days, and it's going to give a 1 or 2 sentence synopsis of what this unit is about. Below this, you're going to find some things that are called unit considerations. The resources and the links that live here are meant to support you as a teacher in your planning, and they are really not meant to be for students. They're to help you as a teacher think through this planning process and some of the important content within this unit. When you click on the Stage 1 tab, again you see the different desired results for this unit of study. When you click on Stage 2, which is that idea of once you know your learning goals, design your assessment, so as part of backwards design. If you scroll down on this page, you're going to see different assessment examples. Each of these links give you examples of different types of assessment. They are always suggestions. So at the top here, you're going to see some suggestions for academic prompts. Here you're going to see some suggestions for informal checks for understanding, observations, and here you're going to see examples of tests and quizzes. Over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see suggested performance tasks. Here is a list of performance tasks and even an example of one that you might use. After determining what your assessment is going to look like for the unit, you can shift on to Stage 3. And I'm going to start over here with the suggested unit-specific materials. The unit-specific materials were organized in a very intentional way to support your instructional planning. They definitely go in a particular chronological order, so hopefully this will help you to understand how it's organized. First, for teachers new to this unit, you might use this unit outline to give you a sense of how the unit might play out. Just as a note, this is a PDF document that's stored within Google Docs, so in order for you to have the links work, you have to download it onto your desktop. There are a collection of blank maps that you might use with your students. Next, you're going to see these two resources on Jamestown, resources for a case study, and Plymouth Plantation, resources for a case study. These are two early colonies within the Atlantic coast, and they allow you to look at some of the key concepts within this unit. First of all, you can look at social or cultural structures in both of those colonies. They're actually quite different socially and culturally. You can look at economics within those two colonies. How did they acquire the goods that they needed? In many situations, they traded with local Native Americans. Last, you can look at some of the economic structures that are within these colonies, or how did they set up leadership or organize themselves so that you had a certain hierarchy to their government systems. So those are placed at the beginning, number one, because they're early colonies, but they also contrast each other very well. As you look into each of these next sections, you're going to see something called a resource bundle. A resource bundle pulls together a number of resources related to a particular topic. So in this first resource bundle, Migration and Settlement Over Time, you're going to see a variety of resources that help you to facilitate that learning for students so they can begin to understand why people migrated to the colonies, where they went, and where they settled, and to consider some of those patterns that are connected to that. In this next set of resource bundles, you're going to see they are all connected. They are all on social and political development. So if you read further into the title, it's going to give you a greater sense of the resources that are on that page. So this first one is on social structures and what life was like. The next one is on democratic principles and practices. And the next one is on religious, scientific, and philosophical beliefs. Studying all of those ideas together may help students with their conceptual understanding of social and political development during that time period, and even allow students to compare the past to the present. As we shift into this next set of resource bundles, they are focused on economic development over time. Sometimes you're going to see a key word at the end of it that says Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 4. These are meant to help you use resources to help kids see how economics did develop within the colonial era. So, for example, this first part is on subsistence living and barter and trade. That's really where the colonists started. Early on in the colonies, they started to use a structure known as indentured servitude. Indentured servitude, while it is a social interaction, is also an economic structure that was put in place. Next, you're going to look at specialization and community interdependence. This might be where students are looking at trades within the colonies. And trades developed so that individuals wouldn't have to, so that it allowed the community to become interdependent and developed a greater economic system. Shifting now into regional economics and the intercolonial trade. And then last is where we start to see a little bit more of a global feel in the colonial era, where we look at the concept of mercantilism and triangle trade. In this last set of resource bundles, you're going to notice that they look at different types of cultural interactions that may have took place within the colonial era. So this first resource bundle looks at different colonial interactions between American Indians and Europeans. The next one looks at different European groups, how did they interact with each other. And last is that cultural interaction of Europeans with African slaves, and at the same time, many of the cultural interactions that took place among the slaves themselves. Down here at the bottom are some different resources that you might consider to be a little bit more isolated, but I would also point you to this one here on issues of cobblestone connected to 5th grade social studies. For teachers that are looking to incorporate more nonfiction reading within their classrooms, Cobblestone is a great social studies magazine written for kids that can allow you to use small pieces for guided reading groups. Up here on the left, you also have some instructional resources or some practices, really thinking of the actual instruction that's taking in place and what kids should be able to do. So here you might see something on how are students going to possibly create concept-based timelines. Again, just suggestions. Here is going to give you a connection to the resources over here on the right. That why would you examine Jamestown and Plymouth Plantation as case studies? So that'll give you a little bit further insight. Within this unit, students have to do a lot of analysis of different primary sources. So this guide might give you a little bit of insight into what that looks like. Again, some other components over here that might help you. I hope this has helped you to understand how stages 1, 2, 3 are organized, and it'll make you more confident in your instructional planning for this unit. Thank you very much.